Hello and welcome to the Long Ball Street podcast. We're back once again live on YouTube, and for podcast listeners, you can get us on iTunes and on the Acast. No, it's not even Acast yet. SoundCloud.
Are we on any of them?
Yeah. No, not Acast. We're moving. We're going to move towards them.
Are we?
But we're currently on SoundCloud.
Okay. We're not giving away our negotiation strategy.
No, there is none. Okay. They're happy, we're happy.
All right, cool.
We're joined by Matt once again.
Hello.
How are things going? Huddersfield still on the march. We're going to be coming and talking about that. How's everything at home?
Good. But although my dog was sick last night.
Oh no.
Just all of a sudden, he was there fine. No. His eyes.
Oh no.
I forgot to tell you this. He couldn't open his eyes.
What?
He couldn't open his eyes. So I think he must have got stung by a wasp or a bee. Allergic reaction. I had to take him to the vet. He had steroid and antihistamine injections and a cone on his head.
How's he doing now?
He's all right now.
Oh, thank God.
A little scrap.
He's a nice little lad as well.
He's a good boy. He's a good guy.
So he slept upstairs. He had to sleep upstairs because we could be near us, because it was kind of 7 o'clock at night. Went to the vets, and in the night he kind of came and I heard him clanking around with his big cone on his head, and I put my hand out and his little tail wagged, and I thought, he's better now.
Yeah, all better.
He came in for a cuddle, which he never gets to do that, so he was delighted.
Of course. Did you take the cone off his head?
He actually self took it off in the night.
Good.
Yeah.
Good dog. Yeah. I'm joined by Rory from CFC Fan TV, and also a member of the Ball Street Podcast Network. What are you doing, Matt? You can't eat on a podcast.
Sorry,
eat mid-banana mid-pod.
It's one of my 5 a day, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
I'll leave it there with Coutinho.
During my intro.
We've got a new mic.
Sorry.
We've got a new mic.
Very nice. It looks lovely.
It does look lovely. You can't see it.
It looks like a pile of Man United books.
Yeah, there's some things you can't explain. We've got a pile of Man United books. We've got a new mic on top of it, and then obviously Coutinho just
stop by.
Just in there, because we're going to be talking about Liverpool's transfer window, and it could work out to be one of the best of the Premier League. I think it looks really good. We're also going to be talking about Everton's plans to sign Costa, what they're going to do with him, and that sounds mad, but I think there's a legitimate logic behind all of that.
And can we talk about Arsenal as well on this?
We are going to go ham on Arsenal, not even on a level like hard as a motherfucker.
No, just on a what, like a.
Well, not even a
Delhi.
It's not even like a Spurs fan enjoying their demise. It's not that. It's we're picking apart what's going on there, because they finally have something to complain about.
Okay.
And obviously, I don't know if people have watched it. We recorded an episode of Tits, totally interesting transfer stories on the main Ball Street YouTube channel, and I might have said some stuff that I didn't 100%.
I heard about this. So you've been getting, some people have taken you up on
direct
stuff.
tweets.
So what happened?
Well, I mentioned whether or not I suggested. I said that Liverpool perhaps how are they going to be in accordance with financial fair play if they spend £250 million, but it's quite complicated, and they're fine. I said it, and I shouldn't have said it, but it felt right at the time. And sometimes you've got to go balls out. I don't work for the BBC.
No. What do people expect? Like, but they're angry at you because what? You got it wrong.
I think they're right to expect not to just come out with bollocks. But at the time, I didn't feel like they're not.
But surely, if they've been watching you before, they're not. They're not here because you're, one of football's great factual minds, are they?
No, but what am I if I'm not that?
A great, charming, charismatic.
Cheers. So all of that stuff. Is what I am.
Yeah.
But I think when you're talking about someone's actual football club, it bothers them. But if you're talking about,
but you don't come to Ball Street for facts, do you? You don't. You don't come. No, but you don't. Like, this is not. This is fans' opinions essentially about football. It's not like and you certainly are not. It's not like you're spending all day doing your research, is it, and getting people. We just kind of, a bit like the people out there, really. We just have a few cameras and a fucking and a microphone and a pile of Man United books, really.
Yeah. You can't.
That's all we've got.
Yeah.
If it's not in them, how are we going to know?
A great comment. Come in. Rory looks.
Oh no!
Rory's
already
tried to slap his own ass during sex.
I haven't even spoken yet. How can I be getting it already?
I don't
literally haven't said it's true as well, but
it is true.
Completely true.
How are you, Rory? How's things been?
Things good. Yeah, all right. Chelsea doing well again, which is nice. And it's been a pretty much a brilliant start to the season. aside from a 15-minute mental spell against Burnley.
Yeah.
But take that aside, it's been a perfect start to the season. Played really well.
Because there are a lot of Chelsea fans talking as if it was like Mourinho's last season all over again.
The Burnley thing, the 3-0 down at half-time to Burnley was grim. Obviously, nobody saw it coming. And
you had a sending off, didn't you? Cahill went.
Yeah. Fabregas went afterwards. They were both going to miss a Tottenham game. We were going into the Tottenham game terrified. But since then, we haven't put a foot wrong. I mean, the Tottenham game was great, and the performance against Everton, I know that Everton had a tough week. You know, they were away at City on Monday, they were away in Split, then they were away at us. I know it's a tough week, but we really did dominate that game. So, yeah, fingers crossed, it's all looking good.
But if you were like, if I was a football player, there's some managers that you just know, and then obviously some managers, because it's about leadership, it's about galvanising people and kind of making them think without constraints, etc. And there's some managers that you just know that you'd play for, right?
Yeah.
That you just get on with it, you play for. Conte for me is the one manager that you would be too scared not to play for. Like if he said it, you imagine doing something stupid and then going into the dressing room and having to face him. You'd be fucking terrified.
I completely agree. But I think you're right. I think there's an element of fear there, but I think it's a little bit beyond that. I think he has this infectious love for the game and just for winning that it rubs off on the players and also the fans. Like nobody that I can remember, Ancelotti to a degree, but nobody has come into a club the way that Conte did last year and completely renovated everything. And we really did. You've got to remember, he inherited a team that finished 10th in the league, won nothing, weren't in Europe, and things were down. He turned up and it all changed, and he is a wonderful, if not the best man in the world.
I do feel though that although you'd finished 10th and all these things were wrong, it was because the whole, whatever had actually happened there, they'd all stopped. They all down tools, didn't they, essentially?
They did.
Like Hazard and everyone. So I think that, I think that, there's no disrespect to you, Flav. I think Flav could have gone in there and fucking got them back into the top four in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like you could, I do think that the whole club was it was a bit of a, it was just a very weird season.
We obviously underachieved the previous year, but I think it's important to don't belittle Conte's achievements there. We were a club in disarray. It really was. I mean, from the top down, the disparity between me as a fan and the players has never been greater. Like the people, there was hate on the terraces. People were really feeling betrayed by the players. Stamford Bridge was a poisonous place to be at times that year. Really was. Conte came in and managed to change that. And I think, yes, of course, he had the tools were available, but I don't think we can underplay quite how grand a job that was.
Yeah, and I'm not. I'm just saying that I think that, when you look at it and you go, I took him from there to there, I think that it was just because they'd all stopped. But yeah, you're right, he is an amazing character. And I picked them actually to win the league this year.
Oh, really?
Based on the simple fact that to win a title, you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent, defence and attack. And I think that out of all the teams, I think that you're the one that's got the potential to do that really. And it's largely because of him. And whether I know right now everyone's ready to hand the trophy to Man United, but it is a marathon, not a sprint. And a lot of times teams will have their sticky period. You don't know what will happen with injuries or certain things that might go on. So I still think that you will.
I think you're right. I think that there's not many clubs in the league that you could think they could potentially win 10 games on the bounce this season. He did that last year with us, and if he does that again, any team that puts together a run like that is really in with a chance of winning the league.
Yeah, of course.
So
a lot of teams spent a lot of money.
Yeah, we did as well.
Well, Chelsea spent a lot. Man United, Liverpool will have by the end of the window if it all goes to plan with them. And who am I missing? Man City.
Yeah.
Man United as well. There's essentially it's an interesting situation because if you spend 200 million or close to it, you have to be challenging for the league. But 4 teams don't go into challenging for league. It's generally not the way it works. And if we have a Premier League where those 4, as completely as a neutral, if we have a Premier League where those 4 are genuinely all challenging for the league, it's going to be some season. But what will actually happen, I think, is 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 will pull away. One will grab onto the coattails, and it will be 3 of them up for it.
So do you think if that was to happen?
Do I think we'll be? Of course we will. Of course we will. We'll probably. I don't know what you're asking.
I'm asking if that's to happen, and Huddersfield somehow by some sort of magic or witchcraftery drop out, and it is those 4 teams challenging for the league. 2 of those teams are going to be unhappy, and surely, given the money they've spent, that the boards of those teams are going to look to replace the manager, which is inconceivable now, but I think we will arrive at that situation.
I suppose you take it case by case. Should we start with City? City, Guardiola, it was a dream signing for them. Everybody, all the biggest clubs were apparently chasing Guardiola. He had his pick, he chose City. They won nothing last year. If they have another trophyless season, does that mean his job's on the line?
Should be, right?
I think it probably should be, and probably would be with any other manager. But he plays by his own rules. I've never known a manager get away with it the way he does.
And I guess they did so much to get him in. They put so much infrastructure in place in order to give him the best opportunity to succeed.
Completely, but people seem to talk about his positive contribution to the game, to which is, I'm not belittling that at all. But if Antonio Conte brought in this three at the back and suddenly everybody's doing it, nobody really talks about that. But if Guardiola did that, it would be like headline after headline. He revolutionised the British game.
I don't know. I mean, come on, there's no one talking about that. I think that they did. I
think other teams have adopted it. Like Everton played with it the other day, but I don't know if people think. People immediately associate it with Conte. I don't know if people acknowledge that Conte has revolutionised the Premier League with that touch. I think Guardiola's brilliance is very well documented. Tiki-taka and all that. People talk about it for days on end.
But I guess that he'd earned that in foreign lands. And what he did with Barcelona, which was, those clubs are always on a pedestal in the world. So he'd kind of come over here with that reputation. What had Conte done before then? I mean, he didn't won a
hat trick of titles at Scudettos
at Juve, yeah. But he hadn't done it in a way that everybody was falling over themselves for, because Barcelona were almost like, for a while everyone was just like, fucking Messi, they're just so good. So I think that was kind of maybe a bit why.
Yeah, I think it's easier to make the headlines with Barcelona, but that Juve team that he did it with, he did really well.
And he played for Juve, and he was awesome at Juve as well. Yeah. I remember, I'm sure he almost used to. He didn't, but like he was the kind of guy that almost used to just walk around smoking a fag. Like see that, stub it out, run over and 2-foot someone. Right?
It's amazing. It's like my coolest image in football. Do you remember that year Barnsley were in the Premier League?
Yeah.
Chelsea played Barnsley first game that season. Gianluca Vialli scored 4. As he's walking off the pitch, he's having a fag.
Is that right?
Yeah. As he's walking off the pitch, he's having a fag, yeah.
Is there like footage or anything?
I don't know. There's definitely an image for that, yeah.
We've got a question from Jack McCullum, 22 on Twitter. He says, would Liverpool have the best summer transfer window if they get Lamar, Van Dijk, Salah and Keita for next summer and Coutinho leaves?
It's a good window. It's a very good window. But if Coutinho stays, then I think any window where you lose one of your prized assets against your will can't be a brilliant window, can it?
I think on paper you would say that was a very good window.
Yeah, very good, absolutely.
You're always going to lose, and Coutinho going has forced the hand of Liverpool, I would assume, in certainly in this push for Lamar. It all depends on what happens, though, isn't it? I mean, on paper, right now, you could say that is a good window, comparable to some others, like Chelsea have had a good window.
If they come off the signings.
And ultimately it's that. It's just looking down the line and looking down the road and how well these teams play. And if Liverpool go on to make a legitimate title challenge, then you could argue, at this stage, it looks like a very healthy window.
It's a very healthy window.
Yeah, for sure.
But the key bit is, right, is if these players that they're bringing in want to play for Liverpool and Coutinho doesn't, then it's a good window, because ultimately any team that's going to win things are going to do things because everyone's pulling in the same direction, aren't they, rather than someone's there getting pissed off. But just to say, right, I went down a little rabbit hole here
smoking footballers.
Yeah,
go on.
And like there's just some funny pictures. I'll put it there so you can kind of see.
Who are
there's Ashley Cole, there's Buffon, there's Fat Ronaldo, or original OG Ronaldo, whatever you want to call him, Robbie Carlos, there's Zeko. And then look how fucking cool I want a cigarette now.
It's like Humphrey Bogart, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want a cigarette. Like, please, someone go out to the shop and get me 20 Benson Edges. Fucking let's do it. In fact, alright.
don't actually smoke it.
No, I can't believe it. I like that. I'm just going to do this dead quick.
Is it going to?
Hello, ladies and
that's up there with the winner at Wembley.
Semi.
Yeah.
Just so when you ball
right now.
There we go.
I nearly swallowed it. That's not that cool.
Did you, when you smoked, did you ever?
Yeah,
did you throw that? Do that in front of birds?
I do that to chat on the pool with birds all the time.
Mate,
you're like Danny Zuko. It's like,
No, you don't always get it, but if you don't, you just got to roll with that, and then they end up doing themselves. And then
I was talking to a girl, a young filly. Actually, it wasn't like that. It's a friend of mine actually, and there's literally nothing at all on that level. Got a girlfriend, love her very much.
Yeah,
Olivia, if you're watching. She said, and then going back to this, because like women shouldn't find that attractive.
No, that's cool though. That's so cool.
It's also a little bit kind of like James Dean. It's like
James Dean's so cool.
I know, but it had his place, and it's cool, but it shouldn't be cool. Right. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
And the missus was saying. This woman. Sorry, so I'm panicking. Anyway, and she said there's something about like a man with big strong arms. I know I shouldn't find it attractive, but
you do.
She does, which is
suddenly you're down the gym.
A little bit worrying for me. But as I say, I'm in a healthy relationship, so I don't have to worry about that now.
But yeah, it would be a great window for Liverpool. Ultimately, I think.
So what would be an absolutely?
Is he gone yet?
No, he's still around. I mean, he wants to go. I think that's clear, Coutinho, isn't it?
I can't understand their reluctance to sell him. I know that Coutinho is a great player. I know that a lot of their game revolves around him, and I know that his eye for a goal is outstanding when he hits it right. But why are they turning down this enormous offer for a player? He's not even the best player in their team.
Right.
He's not even a player that I'm most scared of.
Because we like Mane.
Yeah. Like, as a Chelsea fan, the thought of Coutinho pinging in a 35-yard winner or whatever, it's terrifying, but there's nothing you can do about that. But Sadio Mane running at Gary Cahill is like, will keep you up at night.
He does look like, every time he gets the ball, it looks like he's going to hurt you, doesn't he?
That goal that he scored the other day against Arsenal. Yeah. Perfect.
But what about...
he's great.
What about the with Liverpool and Coutinho though? How do we know that they're not there going fucking awesome? But I reckon there's another 10, 15
maybe
like,
that would make more sense because why are they turning it down?
Because they wouldn't be going out to the media, would they, and going, we're going to sell him actually. We're happy to take him. No, they're going to say no, we don't want him to go because that then creates creates leverage,
improved offer.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe they've accepted that they wanted to go. But do the fans? That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's the fans, because it's like when you I've never really had that much of this, because ultimately a player does well, someone comes in, they're going. Like if it's another level above. Yeah. Before we were obviously amazing. I mean, I don't know where someone could go now. Like where would you go? Where would you want to be? Apart from playing with Wagner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Aaron Moy.
Yeah, fucking hell, lending it off Moy. Are you joking?
Yeah, for sure.
Fucking every kid's dream. But in the other world, where if as a fan, are you just sitting there going, "Do you want Coutinho? Can you cheer him on?"
No, Liverpool fans just
think, "Fuck you, mate."
Yeah, that's what Liverpool would think. Liverpool fans are great for that as well. Yeah. They flick a V.
The soul of the club is actually more important than anything, and that's why I love Liverpool fans, especially those that are angry at Flav.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's say the soul of a football club, but then if they're backing up proven racist Suarez, how good is that for the soul of the relation? Let's leave that there.
Just
any player that's ever said that he wants to leave or whatever. I think the way that I'd be, and I know that I'd be wrong, and I know that it's a very doesn't do you any favours. It's very much cutting off your nose. But if a player has ever said, "I don't want to be at Chelsea, I don't want to play for Chelsea," I think go, doesn't matter. Which is why I can't understand. Manchester United fans are very, very forgiving. Not all of them. A few I know don't like him, but a lot of United fans are very forgiving to Wayne Rooney. He broke his neck to sign for City twice.
Yeah, it did look that way, didn't it?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, but Spurs were in a similar situation when we didn't allow Modric to move to Chelsea, and we were like, everyone was just like, fuck, he's a rat. I mean, and now you look back and you think, he's a rat, and no one looks at Modric and thinks he's
a good footballer, though, isn't he?
He's probably good at football, the best footballer I've seen at Tottenham for sure. But my point was that after a couple of games, and he started playing well again, and when we kept him, we kind of just forgot.
We're a fickle bunch, aren't we?
We're a very, very
fickle
for sure.
bunch,
and I think if they can keep Coutinho, he's not going to not want to play in a World Cup year. If they can keep him at number 10, get him playing again. If they sign Lamar, put him on the wing with Mane on the other side, Salah to come in, they've got a great shot at winning the league.
Also, those signings coming in, Coutinho might look at it now and go, hold up, when I said I wanted to leave, you weren't making these signings. Suddenly, the thought of playing with Lamar and linking up with Salah and Firmino on form, he might think, actually, we've got a serious chance of winning the title here, I'll knock her out.
But are they spending
the money that they've got from
money?
Yeah,
surely they are. Yeah. It's like this Coutinho thing's coming, they're going, fuck it, do you know what, let's take the money, let's go out and see if we can buy him. It looks to me like they're spending that dough anyway. So I reckon that they maybe got it set up and they're almost waiting to get their little bits done, and then all of a sudden everything will happen kind of almost at once.
Smith just arrived in the comments, so thanks for representing, Smith.
Smith in the house.
If you're listening to the podcast version of this and you want to join in the live chat as we record, you can do it. Go over to the Long Ball Street YouTube channel and get involved. It's a nice little community there. Everyone's getting on very well at the moment. It's very nice. Everton are making an audacious bid to sign Diego Costa for 6 months.
I love this.
Before he moves on.
I fucking love this.
Before he moves to Atleti, because he's dead set on Atletico Madrid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right, where do we stand on player power, right? Should it be a case of, because player power's out of control, and part of me, I agree with it, right? And I think it isn't right, because fucking hell, these guys have got all this money, they're able to do what they want and leverage moves, and it's all in their favour and their agent's favour, and I do think that. However, there's something romantic about a guy wanting to play for a certain team, and it's the only place he wants to play football, and that club wanting him. Surely that should be allowed to happen, right? It's like Izzy Brown.
That's good.
That's got to be able to happen.
You've described the perfect scenario, but that isn't. So in this situation, because it is born out of love, like Costa does want to play for Madrid because he loves it there, and he loves them, and their fans love him. So when we're talking about this situation, you're right. It's romantic and it's beautiful, and you can't stand, and it's hard to make a case against it. However, that isn't the motivation ever before. I can't think of another example.
So what you're saying is that this is the exception.
This is the exception because this is born out of love.
Okay.
Every other player power moment,
I want to go there because I want
to double my wages, and I want to play for a bigger club, and I want a bigger sponsorship deal, and that is where it is out of order.
Right. Okay.
But what it's out of order in because the traditions of the game suggest that that isn't the right way to behave.
It's not the right way to behave, though. It's not.
But as an individual, they don't give a shit about the feelings of Tottenham fans or Chelsea fans. They know their career is their career. Yeah. They've got no affiliation to these clubs.
I don't. It doesn't sit comfortably with me. It doesn't sit comfortably with me in any aspect of my life, though. Like, if I sign a contract, I intend to honour that contract, like in any circumstance. And I think that, without going too sort of existential here, we don't mind. We're characters. Yeah, sorry, this is taking a turn, but you're the man you are because of the word that you say. And I think as soon as that isn't worth a pie crust, then what's the point? What is the point of anything? Like, if literally, I can just say to you, I'm off, mate, bye. If you can do the same, if somebody else can offer me something that you can't,
mate, you're like the Jon Snow of Ball Street.
Whoa, I haven't seen. I'm just saying. Wherever you're going with that comment, stop. All right, I haven't seen. I'm 5 episodes behind.
You've done Jon Snow.
Whoa! Just stop. Just stop. What? Just stop. I haven't seen. I'm not up to date on Game of Thrones.
Look, Costa. The point Matt made. Costa's is fair enough. Costa wants to go back for love, and maybe you shouldn't stand in the way. Rooney's probably done the same. Actually, Rooney's probably gone back to Everton because of his boyhood club, but Oxlade-Chamberlain wanted to sign for Chelsea at the moment, and I'm going to do a player that's looking likely to sign for my club. He's jumping ship. He's jumping ship to double his money. It's not right.
Yeah,
true. Yeah, but I'm kind of in the position now where I understand that they're all sort of mercenaries. Yeah, they don't love my club. Harry Kane's the only one. He's the only real footballer on earth. Right, he's the only one that actually loves him. He'll never leave. Right, ever.
Harry Kane.
Yeah, no, of course
this has got. Somebody's going to make a vine out of this.
I know.
This has got a vine written all over it.
When
he scores his first goal for Manchester United, this goes viral.
I'm being silly, and but I'm just going to close this down because people are talking about Game of Thrones and the thing.
They really.
Hang on, let me just. You can't see it.
We'll only talk about Arsenal. Do people want us to talk about Arsenal? And if so,
I'd like to talk about Arsenal. Do I get a vote?
I don't care what they think. We're talking about.
Yeah, but I know. But I was going to try and leverage likes. because you always do that and it works a treat.
Well, what they like is tits. You get likes for tits. As you get. So
likes.
What did you say?
We've never seen Rory's tits.
Rory will get tits for likes.
Tits for likes. Yeah.
Oh,
how many does it usually take?
Well, Jim got his out for like 13.
13 likes. Oh, mate, he's cheap.
He is cheap.
It's cheap.
Very cheap. All right, so yeah, if we can get to 250 likes at the end.
250 likes, I'll take
see Rory's nipple. You take top off. All right. Wow.
Is that the currency that we're trading in?
That's your worth currently. That's where your worth tops off.
Oh dear.
All right, so let's. I mean, look, for Everton, the Costa. Going there, the logic from Chelsea, because in their instance, Chelsea are thinking, I'm not sure I want, I want Costa anywhere else other than the Chelsea first team.
Yeah,
but that doesn't look like
that's the dream. Yeah, that's the dream, but that dream is sadly sailed.
Yeah. So, but what's the second best alternative?
The second best alternative is we just need him out of the club. Yeah. We need him to leave because as much as I love him, it's a disruptive presence. We need him out. So he's going to go to Madrid. Madrid can't sign anybody yet. So Madrid are going to buy him, but send him back to Everton on loan, which obviously is great for Chelsea because it could do our title rivals a massive mischief.
Yeah. You've played Everton.
We've played Everton. You can't do anything.
I'm surprised there aren't more of these like three-way deals actually.
Do you remember when Fernando Torres went? In fact, he went from Chelsea to Madrid via AC Milan.
Is that right?
Yeah, Fernando Torres did it, didn't he? He went from Chelsea to Atletico Madrid via AC Milan for 6 months.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit.
Yeah.
My memory, since I had a kid, my memory is...
It makes sense though, you're right. These three-way deals...
It's always just going focus, Matt. Very good.
Huddersfield. We're on our way to the Champions League. We're on our way.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to know?
I just think, look, you're 3 games in, you haven't conceded a goal, you're nearly a quarter of a way to a point tally of being safe.
Is that right? Yeah. Quarter of a way?
Yeah,
nearly.
Not far off it. Win. You're 40 points.
Really?
7 points.
Okay. I think that we're... Ultimately, everyone's having such a good time. Like the fans, and I've got to say this because I've not even said this really yet on any forum. Our fans have been amazing. Like they have been amazing.
The noise,
amazing last season, and I think Wagner. They've just got something that they can believe in for once, and it's beautiful to be there where you've got that. And the crowd have been unreal, and I almost feel because there's been a couple of penalty shouts that from where I'm standing, I've gone, shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm far away because I've got shocking seats. I hate the seats that I'm having to sit in. This is the worst thing about it. I used to be able to walk in and sit in a good sit. Now I can't. I'm fucking at the far end of the stand like I'm a fucking steward. You know what I mean? Just like craning my fucking neck. I hate it.
Why do you keep sitting there?
Because that's all I can fucking get to get in, man. It's terrible. It's all I can get. But anyway, I think that the referees there going, do you know what? They're having such a good time. Yeah. I can't even do it. So I'm not giving that. Play on, lads.
So against Southampton, Ward-Prowse went through.
Looked it to me, but
he sort of turned him, and I first instance I thought that's a pen. And then when I look back, I don't think it. I mean, you can see.
Yeah.
It was surprising that it wasn't given.
Yeah.
I think that's whether it was or wasn't after the 10th replay is kind of neither here nor there. At the time when it happened, you kind of go. But no, you're listening for the whistle, aren't you?
The referee doesn't. He's obviously not a fun sponge. He doesn't want to ruin the party.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Fair play.
And it is a total party. Yeah. We're missing a couple of bits. So the signings we brought in, like Tom Ince's playing as a 10 when really we want him playing right midfield. We got Casey Palmer from Yola, who's amazing, but he's only played half a year of real adult first team football, which is for us last season in the Championship. Then he got injured, so he's kind of coming. You can see he's a bit of coming off the bench, a little bit of a headless chicken because he's dying to make an impact. Did have a few touches of class, like he's quality, but I think we need someone there that can play with Moy a little bit. And mate, Aaron Moy is he's just the best player I've ever seen play for us. I just love him so much. So it's brilliant, but I think we could do with a number 10, another experience, someone that can just nudge it around and that can just kind of calm things down. And because we look to run a little bit out of ideas, I think that we're going to get hurt a few times without a shadow of a doubt. Like Southampton actually in the last 7 or 8 minutes had a sequence of opportunities where I thought that they were going to score, and I think that. But look how we were promoted a full month after Newcastle and Brighton, so we had about 6 weeks to get ready. Something ridiculous for the season. We've brought in about 11 signings. The club's had all these changes. So what they're doing is amazing, and I'm very, very proud of them. But it's going to be tough because we've actually like Southampton. They're missing something up top without a shadow of a doubt. Very good side, some beautiful players, but they're missing something up top. Newcastle, obviously, they were a little bit finding their identity. Palace, clearly, the De Boer thing, I don't know what he's doing, but it's round pegs and square holes. They had the best, like Zaha should be on an island with a full-back on the counter, putting it in front of him, and you've now got him playing in this 3-4-3, getting the ball with his back to goal a lot. It don't make sense. So I think that we've had 3 good games for us.
Do you know what I just noticed there, though? The fixtures that you mentioned, it's brilliant because you've taken points off teams that are
down, or potentially down.
Effectively, you've had 2 6-point games, and you've won them both.
Yeah,
so
it is awesome.
You've been in the Premier League now for about a month.
Yeah.
And I just want to know what's the difference between the Premier League and the Championship?
The difference really is my arrogance. It has fucking filled with, you know, like in them movies where you get bitten by the zombie and it's kind of, you start to transform. It's like that. At first I was like, oh shit, I'll keep that down, and now I just I love my favourite thing is idle chat with James Alcott. It's fucking brilliant.
QPR's James.
I'm just like, mate, honestly, James,
what's life like down there?
Well done. I think it's great that you'll go and watch it, but I can't believe you even have to pay in to watch that. So it's just all having fun, mate. It's just fun really at the minute. And I was saying to Robbie, this was when I got a call from Robbie earlier, and I was just saying to him, mind the gap. I was nicking your one, mind the gap, because we're like 4 points clear of Arsenal. Enjoying that.
It's something else. It's lovely to. Occasionally you get a team that comes up and they perform well. Ipswich season
did it. Yes.
Do you remember they qualified?
They got finised 6th. Yeah.
No, it's higher than that, wasn't it?
I think. They definitely got into Europe.
Yeah, definitely.
Marcus Stewart up front.
That's right. Yeah. Some cracking stuff. So we've got. Should we move on to Arsenal because it's happening, isn't it?
It's happening.
Yeah. It's
Arsenal.
I mean, what the fuck is going on there? What is going on?
It's no surprise though. This is what I can't understand. This has been scripted for the past 2 years. This moment, this complete implosion, has been coming for the past. Well, actually, it's been coming for longer than that, but it's been very, very prominent for 2 years. Unbelievable.
Mate, it's more than 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. But
this is something that I think this football club has been struggling with for many years. I remember it with Vieira. I'm sure there were shades of it with Anelka. There was that with Fabregas. There was people like Nasri, RVP, whereby there's players that are allowed to almost hold this cloud of uncertainty over the club throughout the summer and into they've had it with Wenger. It's been happening with Wenger for years, not even just this last contract, you know what I mean? It's been happening for a long time. What you've got is with Arsenal Football Club, you've got a fucking club that is almost like a rudderless ship. The owner's Kroenke now, who don't give a fuck. He's basically out there, he's got a number of franchises. This is just like a few digits on his P&L, you know, on his monthly report. What's happening over there? He don't give a fuck. It's money, it's foreign investment. It's like having a property portfolio in a different country. Now, the whole thing with Wenger, right? It needed to be fucking dealt with. It's just like when they've had players where you saw how Fergie and Man United used to deal with it. Ronaldo, when that went out.
Oh yeah, they sacrificed winning the league one year to get rid of Stam. Do you remember when Jaap Stam was rocking the boat? They actually got him out, but way prematurely than they should have done.
And Arsenal, they never do it. And really, what it reminds me of, in a way, it's almost like when you're sick as a human being, right? And although we're in 2017 and it's different now, you know, I remember back in the 80s or older guys, and they wouldn't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Arsenal is a fucking. Arsenal needs to go to the doctors. They need to work out what the fuck it is that's wrong with them, and they either need to go and have it cut out. They need to start taking some fucking tablets, whatever it is. They just need to deal with it because they never do. And they've always got all this shit that's distracting them that they're all fucking chatting about, rather than being fucking aligned around the same vision, bought into it. Like the way they dealt with the whole Wenger thing, it's ridiculous.
The thing that needs to be cut out.
It's the manager.
Is the manager and
it's
the
only
owner.
that though, don't you reckon, Matt? It's only the issue, the main issue around the football team, that first 11, is Wenger. That's the problem. Like, you know, I know it's a layered thing. I know that Kroenke, it seems like a terrible owner and a terrible man, actually. But there's so much going on. But is it not pretty much all dealt with if they removed Wenger?
Oh, I think it might be. But what I'm saying is that the Wenger thing is just another of the symptoms of the problem. And the problem is they don't sort shit out. They don't make decisions. They almost let things just happen and reach a conclusion. Like, didn't they sell RVP to Man United on pretty much on deadline day? Like, how the fuck are you doing that?
No.
They're talking about Chamberlain getting sold to Chelsea. Other teams, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Man United, I don't think, would do that stuff on the field. They'd be like, over my dead body. Yeah. They'll ship him out somewhere over there, and they might take a little bit less cash, but they're not going to give him to a rival like that. And it happened with, it was the club captain. I'm sure like Cess was the club captain.
They've sold their captain. They've actually sold their captain to a rival. They have, but they've let it go on over. It's dragged over a summer. It's gone through a season. They're probably giving him more money, and it's carried on. But there's something about that tells everyone that you're weak inside the club and outside of the club. The identity of the club and the organisation has got to come first. And what they've got to say is, look, I'm sorry, but seeing it, if you don't want to be here, fine, fuck off, go. And I don't care what it is. I'm not going to let you go over there, though. You're not holding us to fucking ransom. You get the fuck out of here. And actually, we're going to get in people that want to be here. And that says more to the fans. That says more to fucking everybody else than letting someone carry on and be the fucking captain again when they've been sitting there going, actually, I want to go play there, or I want to go play there. It's like, so you're right. Wenger should go. Wenger should have gone. He should have gone this time. So last year when they then signed the new 2-year, he should have gone a couple of years before that. For a long time, Wenger's been an analog manager in a digital world, and they've never got rid of him because they're scared to make a change. Do you know what,
you've got to make decisions in this world.
Sorry to bring him up on this situation, but Piers Morgan's been banging on Twitter today, saying that if the board have any minerals at all, sack Wenger now, today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it's time. I've been not a sympathiser, because obviously I've got no time for Wenger at all, but if you take my Tottenham hat off for a second, I've finally come round to saying that it's madness that he's still at the football club.
Yeah.
And finally, Arsenal fans have got something legitimate to worry about, and there is big problems. The fact that Mustafi is being let go to Inter Milan. They haven't got a defence already.
I mean, for crying out loud, that whole transfer policy. Like, for how long has it been? Like, seriously, when there used to be, do you remember they were strong on their spine, and then they let it go, and it's just like, they bring in all these fucking players. Ozil, mate, I'd be like, seriously, mate, you're a great player when we're fucking 3-0 up and it doesn't matter. Where are you when it's fucking, we're going to Chelsea or we're playing against a hard team? Where are you then? He's nowhere. This is probably why Madrid let him go. He's not consistent enough. Great player on his day when everything's there and he's got time on the ball. Yeah. But I'm sorry, but these people just don't fucking...
The most shocking thing, the most symptomatic thing, I think, at Arsenal is that their willingness to acquiesce when players are running their contract down. The amount of talent that's going to be leaving Arsenal for next to nothing in the next 2 years is criminal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that none of these players are going to sign new contracts now, right? They've got 9 or 10 players that will be out of contract, including the end of this season, the end of next season. You might say, all right, but it's 2 years. They've got 2 years to sort a problem, to sort checks, contracts out, or whatever it might be. But the fact is, currently, the value of those players is significantly less than it would have been if they'd have started dealing with this problem a year ago.
Yeah.
The fact that they just see this problem come in, they just see it, see it come in, and they're just watching, and then it passes them by and they can't do anything about it.
They're just like, they're fucking numb.
Yeah.
It's just like they're just watching it happening. It's like, sort your shit out. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you know what it's like? It's like, you know, when people keep spending, they've got credit cards, and they've got a fucking huge bill on their credit card, and they're paying off the interest, and for some reason they just don't fucking understand it, and it's like a false economy. pay off the fucking credit, deal with the problem, face up to it. They've never done it. They've not done it with Wenger. They've not done it with players that have been saying that they want to leave the club, and they've not done it with filling the needs that they've got. And I kind of feel sorry for the fans, if I'm honest with you. I wouldn't trade places with Arsenal. I love the situation I've got. The chairman gives a shit. The chairman is kids. Do you know what I mean? They're there. They give a fuck about the club. They've got the interests of the club at heart. You don't have that with Arsenal. It seems to me like it's about branding. They're the busiest club when it comes to social media activations, and you know, I think that they spend more time getting their commercials deals right than they do getting their football decisions right. And for me, it's just like the emphasis of that whole club is wrong. They're not set up to try and win football matches. They're set up to make cash, and I just don't know what it is. And maybe those little FA Cup wins that have been happening,
they papered over the cracks massively.
Maybe that's what's happened, and it's made them fans go from being, we want this guy out, to actually then going, well, we've won the FA Cup a bit, now we've got something to brag over Tottenham, now we've got something to brag over them, now we've got as many as Man United, we've got more than Man United, so it gives them something to feel good about. And then they start the next season thinking we're going to win the league, and you know, it doesn't take long till they're all going, we're not fucking winning the league. There's no way this set of fucking players is going to win this league. There's no way that team, they've not been fighting for the guy. All last season they weren't fighting for the guy. The year before, when it was Leicester, and actually it ended up being you challenging Leicester, and they say you bottled it. Arsenal bottled it a long way before you were fucking even in the hunt. You clawed it back before then. Arsenal had fucking bottled it, and that's why they were saying Wenger out then, because they knew that they had the fucking chance, and they didn't have the bollocks to do it. They're soft as shit, mate. They are soft as shit. Sorry for ranting. Like, I feel sorry for Arsenal fans. I'm not having a go, but your club is as soft as shit. That's a fact.
It is a fact. No, you're spot on. And like, there's, again, if we remove Tottenham out, you can actually see that there's major issues there, and I'm not going to be able to put it in any better way than Matt has just done.
No, it's very impassioned and completely accurate. The only thing that I think, I can play devil's advocate to something here, and that is the running the contracts down. And I agree that that's an oversight, but there is something to be said about not allowing players to choose and completely rule their own football club. Like, Diego Costa has pretty much orchestrated a move out of Chelsea. I would have had a bit of respect for Conte if he said, no, you're not going anywhere. We're gonna swallow the 40 million quid and you're going to sit on the bench. There is something to be said for that. It's very short-sighted. It's hugely cutting off your nose. But
it's just whether you've got because I can't, and I don't know the ins and outs. I really don't. I don't profess to be an expert on football. I'm an expert on fucking making decisions and seeing that, but not the fucking granular details of what's happening in football's narrative in the Premier League of the last few years. But it feels to me, and I'd love to get your view on this. Feels to me like Abramovich, the whole model's changed, and actually they're desperate for dough now. Like they still feel like they've gone a little bit from being like, I'll fucking do it, I'll buy that,
it's not like that anymore,
to actually going, right, we need to fucking make cash.
It's not raining at Stamford Bridge anymore. Those days are certainly finished. But I feel like you about your owner. Like, as a Chelsea fan, we are blessed to have Abramovich. He really is. Like, it does feel like he's a fan. And although the cash has slowed down a bit, we still broke our transfer record this summer. You know, like, we bought Morata for 60 odd million quid. So it still happens.
It's always going to happen, isn't it?
Exactly. The economy, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does happen that we do that. But we're trying to balance the books now. We've got to pay for a stadium. We saw how that's affected other clubs. Like, I think we've done quite well to spend what we have. But yeah, I mean, I think the way that Chelsea Football Club is run generally, I'm pretty on board with.
The one thing that I'm really not fucking on board with from is the way that Chelsea, and probably other clubs do it a little bit as well, but Chelsea's the one that, mainly because we've done business with them, that I'm more tuned into it, I guess. But the way that they've been stockpiling assets and the way that they hoover up, like, there's got to be a cap on your fucking squad.
And all the loans and things like that.
It's madness. How you're able to have 50, 60 assets, because that's what they are.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Well, you're out to have 60 odd of these things that you're never going to use, that you just push out in these places, and you just kind of like, no, we're not selling them, we're just going to wait until the value's up, and then, right, cool, give us 20 mil for this.
It's very disheartening. It's very disheartening for a Chelsea fan, though. Like, obviously, you know, you have heroes who can come in and they don't necessarily have to have been at the club to become heroes. Gianfranco Zola is a great example. He came in and he is as intertwined in the DNA and fabric of Chelsea Football Club as anybody. But there is something beautiful about the likes of John Terry, who have come through the ranks and have been at the club since they're 8 years old. Nathaniel Chalobah, been at the club since he was a kid. Get him in the first team. They understand what it means to play for Chelsea. They understand what it was like. Like John Terry cleaned Dennis Wise's boots. It's a link to the previous era and what Chelsea meant before. Like John Terry cleaned Wise's boots. He used to wash Spencer's kit. He was very into
John Spencer.
Yeah, what a man, right? He was hero. But he was very much of that, and it's a connection to the previous. The shed, the old stadium, not being
Matthew
very good.
Harding,
Save the bridge,
kind of
Matthew
stuff.
Harding. And that's brilliant. What's happening is now our our youth policy, and we have a fantastic youth setup, by the way. We've won 2 out of 4 Champions Leagues that they've been at that level.
Well, I mean, you're paying obscene amounts of money.
Yes, absolutely. However, we have still, it's like Jody Morris is winning trophy after trophy at that level. But they're not the point of it, and this is what's very, very dissatisfying for Chelsea when we see these young lads who've been at the club forever and they feel like Chelsea fans. Tammy Abraham, who's currently at Swansea, it feels like Tammy Abraham's me. He's just better at football than me, but he's me. You know what I mean? He's a geezer from London who happens to be wicked at football, grew up in London, plays for his local club. If I was wicked at football, I'm Tammy Abraham, and the affinity that I feel with him is huge. I don't think Tammy's probably a bad example here because I think he does have a future. But the countless others, they're not viewed. Like the point of our youth policy isn't to play for Chelsea.
No,
that's not the point.
Not.
The point of a successful youth policy is, I'll tell you a great example of somebody like Patrick Bamford would be. Like somebody at Chelsea, somebody in the boardroom has got a massive pat on the back for Patrick Bamford. We sold him for 10 million quid. Somebody's gone, oh my god, we signed that kid from Milton Keynes or wherever it was for next to no money when he was a child, and we sold him for 10 million. Well played. Not get him in the first team. That's not the point.
No, but that's it, right? I don't even think that it's as casual as a pat on the back. Oh, well done. I actually think that Chelsea, in some ways, look, it's smart, right? Because it's a fucking loophole in the system that allows them to do it. In some ways, it's smart, but this isn't a well done, mate. You managed to get 10 million for this kid that you signed for whatever. It's not that. It's a clear strategy that they are pursuing constantly, and that is get as many of these kids in as possible, send them out on loan, let the asset fucking creep up, sign them for long contracts so you protect the value in the player, and then what you do is then you're fucking going, what, Bournemouth, oh, you like this guy that we launched? Of course you do. 20 million.
Well, it's going to happen for you. It's going to happen to you. My dream for Casey Palmer is that Casey Palmer comes back, plays on the wing for Chelsea and scores in the European Cup final in Kiev next year. Right, that's my dream for Casey Palmer.
Yeah. But that's not why they're doing it.
No, that's not the point. The dream is that Wagner thinks that he can do a job for you next year in the Premier League. Yeah. And we go, you want him, right, 12 million quid. Yeah. And that's job done. That's not the point.
And at the same time, Izzy Brown goes there, maybe Tammy Abraham goes to Swansea, or if not, it's someone else. And you're sitting there racking up the paper, and then you're going and buying the guys that have got the name and that are going to fucking sell the shirts and going to bring the endorsements.
They actually pay for the others.
But that's why something needs to be done to change the rules and actually make it more even off the field. That's what needs to happen, because it's not even on the pitch, because it's uneven off it. They need to do things that make it a more fairer playing field and make the competition, because ultimately the integrity of the league, the long-term integrity of the league and the product is about it being fair and about it being balanced. And that's when systems like the NFL have got it and we don't, because the whole thing with the worst team getting the first pick of the fresh upcoming talent, the whole fact that you can have a 53-man active roster in the season, and anyone that's not in your 53, they're then a free agent that other teams can come and say, well, actually, he's good enough for us. So if Chelsea were allowed to have a maximum, even if it's a maximum of 30 players, 25 players, and then a practice squad. Yeah, exactly. And if it was a practice squad that was limited, and then Huddersfield Town could be going, well, if Casey Palmer's not going there, Casey, come and play here. Yeah. Tammy, come and play here. And then it's just you're getting more people that we then own the asset.
It's nice, but this never happens. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but this never happens in the Premier League. I know,
but it needs to. It does need to happen. This stuff needs to happen. And do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say it won't happen, because I actually believe that this is a systematic problem that's happening in the world. It's our rich people have got all this property, and it's about we're sitting there working for money and paying half of our tax to a government. This is a system thing that's happening here, right? However, this is a new world, and via things like social media and things like tech, we're able to disrupt this world, and people working together is able to overthrow and make things look wrong. Activities that have, for long periods of time have been accepted and become the norm, are able to, via time and via people, are able to show the light on things and leverage and shine a light on things. It's able to bring about the potential and the appetite for change. So I'm going to hope that actually at some point football is going to need to deal with this and going to need to change it.
I think the reason that it won't happen though in football is because overall people don't want it to happen, because overall it's better, but for the clubs like Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham, Manchester City, Arsenal, it's worse. More people support them.
Yeah.
They have the money. They have the like anything that Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Tottenham disagree with is going to be very difficult to implement. Like from the FA.
Matt, you're with us now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. We just got to start fucking picking up all the kids in all the region.
Just like get into Leeds United and get hold of all their youth team.
What you're saying is right, but like it only affects QPR and that. Who cares?
I love it. People are saying I fucking want that banana now.
Go on, eat the banana.
Go on
quickly.
It's going a bit brown.
Yeah,
eat it now. Quick.
People are going mental over it. Okay, look. So we're going to move on to people. Don't leave the stream. But we're going to move on to Mayweather and McGregor.
Loads of people that Moy's better than Arsenal, and I'm an Arsenal fan. I love that.
Who, Moyes?
Moy.
Moy, right?
Better than Ozil.
Yeah.
Sorry, not
better
Arsenal.
Ozil,
Yeah, that's right.
So Rory, as you have no idea.
No, I know there was a fight, and I know who won.
So you're welcome to leave the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was really good fun.
And
cheers.
Thank you so much.
Fan TV.
TFC Fan TV. Thank you very much.
And go and watch it if you're a Chelsea fan.
That's fine. I'll go upstairs and watch the rest.
Oh, right. Okay, come on. So obviously the big fight at the weekend. We've been talking about it for months, and obviously I'm kind of from the boxing side of it. I don't watch a great deal of MMA, although I do. I have a lot of time for Conor McGregor. I love what he's done and how he's transcended the sport and got a lot of people interested in UFC, and I love watching him fight, and I love his braggadocious kind of behaviour, and he's definitely in that respect out hyped Mayweather,
Wow,
brilliant.
Sorry,
Wait, you listen to that back,
starving.
the audio bit. No, don't do that. Trying to eat over the mic. It's like for a podcast, it's sacrilege to eat on a podcast. So just as long as you close, let's move on. All right, the Mayweather and McGregor this weekend. From a McGregor fan, how did you feel after it all? What was the feeling?
I felt I was nervous.
Yeah,
I was really nervous watching the fight, and because we were talking on text with it beforehand, and we were I'd got to the point where I was just like, what are our eyes gonna even see right now? It just felt mad. It was like I'd completely lost perspective of the event, and once it started, I immediately was like, he looked awkward, did Conor?
Yeah,
but I was pleased that it wasn't a complete fucking sham. Yeah, that was my first concern.
Yeah,
I didn't want Conor to look bad out of it. I know he's made all this money, but I've been supporting Conor since he was at Cage Warriors, and I remember him having his first UFC fight. I remember kind of even telling people like Jim upstairs, who's in it, I was like, mate, there's this guy called Conor, he's going to be huge, you should get on him. Right? Yeah. Didn't do it. We'd have all retired now. So I was there really rooting on Conor. Because I was saying to you beforehand, basically I've watched more Mayweather this last 2 weeks, getting ready for it, and I was like, fuck, he's got no chance. Yeah, and he's definitely got no chance. So I knew that. But I think for me the fight delivered, because the whole thing was, it became, and this was what was amazing, is that Conor made us all think, hang on a minute, can this guy win? And there were people going, McGregor's going to win, McGregor's definitely going to win. They were. And so it was amazing how he sold the fight. But actually, really, the whole fight was, from start to finish, was Can a guy that does this other thing, this other sport that's kind of similar but definitely very different, can he actually jump in here and take on the world's best boxer, albeit best defensive boxer? And can he compete? How can he do? That was what was intriguing.
Absolutely.
And it delivered because he did okay.
Yeah, he did.
He did okay.
He did.
He didn't nearly win.
No.
Although he won a couple of rounds by the virtue of Floyd not throwing and just actually his plan of just walking towards him, letting him punch himself out.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, look
but he did well.
He did really well. He did a lot better than I thought. I was in the same situation as you. I was fascinated watching it. I wasn't sure what was going to happen or how it was going to unfold. The thing I was most excited to see was how McGregor's stance. How would he come out and how would he approach? And he was doing a lot of pouring and putting his arms out and trying to kind of get at Mayweather. And Mayweather's game plan was very simple one. It was ultimately wait for Conor McGregor to punch himself out, and then I can beat him up. And ultimately I mean, look, there's a couple of people saying things in here. Brandon, Matt, you got too hyped for that event. Now, I was hyped. Look, I knew what I was going to be watching. Well, I didn't know fully what I was going to be watching. I was worried it was going to let down. But that, for me, was fucking intriguing. I remember Rocky 3, watching Sylvester Stallone, Rocky take on Hulk Hogan, the wrestler. That had me fucking, had my hairs fucking standing on their back. Look, that's what it was always going to be. Conor was never going to win that. It was just a case of, what the fuck is this? This is mad. And it was entertainment. This is about entertainment. But and there's also a guy here going about like Tony Vaselli saying, so overhyped Conor's power. Look, I think that's wrong, actually. And someone's saying here that it's about his gloves. McGregor had literally no power, 8-ounce gloves on. Like, that's not the case. What it was it's about MMA and the way that MMA striking works versus boxing. Right, it's two very different things. You watch when Conor fights, it's all about kind of coming in and out of range, and then it's putting all your chi, all your energy, all your momentum into the timing for a decisive strike. It's that whole karate style that you see in point karate, and it's about a lot of martial arts. It's about timing, and it's about going in with and lunging in with that killer strike at that killer time. And that's why you look at McGregor, from Aldo to some of the shots that put down Nate, to some of his victories against the likes of Chad Mendes, where it's kind of just starting to deliver those very heavy blows. In boxing, it was a different technique for that. And what Conor actually said it himself. He said it was about efficiency of energy and about composure. You look at Floyd. Floyd's relaxed. He's just doing this essentially. He's just moving in a way that made Conor just have to keep putting his arms in the air. So Conor's arms were just getting fucking fatigued and tired. It's not about Conor's overall stamina. His stamina's fine, but it's the efficiency of the energy that he's expending in that rule set to keep that boxer at bay. He's fighting against a fucking Jedi that's moving around the board, and Conor just had to keep doing that to the stage where these punches, none of them had any power in, because he was fucking gassed out. Because in the MMA, he don't throw fucking 200 punches a fucking round. Do you know what I mean? He sits there and a lot of it's doing this, and it's grappling and it's kicks and that, and then it's that big fucking shot. But you ask anybody to fucking keep doing that for a fucking couple of minutes, their arms, their biceps, everything starts to get tired. So he wasn't putting any leverage into any shots. He was essentially just doing this. In MMA, his hands are down and that lot, and fucking all of a sudden it's a jump in and it's a big shot. He didn't throw any big shots like that. Was the cornerman? Did he have the same cornerman for MMA?
It was his. It was one of the guys from his gym and in his team who was kind of cornering him.
So one of the things I think that McGregor, although he clearly
and I'm not bitching, sorry, by the way,
respects Mayweather, I think I don't think he showed due diligence to the art of boxing. I think.
Sorry, you don't think?
I don't think he respected
Conor.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think that one of them asked him about the work he was doing in terms of the stamina beforehand, and he said he hadn't changed and he wasn't jogging. He was doing some treadmill work, but he thinks jogging hurts his joints, which is really important for MMA.
Yeah, and it does.
Stamina is obviously one of the key parts, and the main thing that Mayweather beat McGregor on was simply stamina. He knew how to wear McGregor out.
Yeah.
And when you're gassed, it doesn't matter how good you are at fighting.
No. Well, there's a beautiful line, and it says, it's that fatigue makes cowards of us all. That's it. It's Vince Lombardi, the old Packers coach who the Vince Lombardi American football trophy says. That's what he said. He says fatigue makes cowards of us all, and that's definitely the case. You see it in all kinds of combat sports.
You can't do anything.
No, you can't.
You can't do anything.
So that's what it was. But look, there's people in here saying things like it's bitching. It's what, like, I don't care about fucking Conor losing that. It was about money. The whole thing was all about money, and he managed to convince us all that there was a contest.
That was fascinating.
It was totally fascinating. But he's never going to beat him at boxing because Mayweather has spent his whole fucking life. I was listening to Floyd Senior. He basically started training Floyd when he was 11 months old, he said. And he said as soon as he could, he just wanted to be in the gym. He started training every single day. And he still does it now, doesn't he? He trains at like 3 o'clock in the morning every morning.
Yeah.
So you've got a guy that spends his whole life operating like that. Conor's never going to beat him at that. It's all about the energy. That's what it is. It's like a sprinter against a fucking marathon runner, against Mo Farah at 10,000 metres.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt's not going to do it because he doesn't know how to use his energy in the right way, because the whole time he's been doing this, he's been doing X rather than Y. So I think that people that are sitting there that are bitching about the fight in any other way, I just think you're taking it too seriously. It was just an interesting thing.
All right, so that's it for the Long Ball Street podcast. Thank you very much for joining us in the comments, and remember, if you download the podcast, you can join us in the live show when we talk and react to people in the comments as well.
So what's happening on deadline day as well?
Deadline day, we've got a live stream. It's running from 7 o'clock till the end. I think this might well be the most exciting deadline day we've ever had. Certainly since covering it on Ball Street.
Yeah.
We've got lots of fans coming in and talking, some via mobile. We're going to be harnessing the power of the Ball Street fan TV.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just going to be covering it. There seems to be a lot of stuff going. Go to our main Ball Street YouTube channel.
So hopefully you guys can check it out. Thanks very much for watching the show.
Yep.
Thank you. If you're not subscribed, please do so.
Yep.
Do other nice things like that ultimately help us in life. It'd be really appreciated.
And the likes. Give us all the likes.
Yeah.
Not enough for Rory's tits, but we'll see how we get on with next week.
Yeah, next week we might get Rory to get him out.
All right. Thanks a lot. Cheers. See you for our post.
What he said.